What's up, everybody? Damon here, and in today's entertainment news, Ryan Coogler shares a few details on what his original Black Panther 2 script was like. James Cameron has a plan for what to do with Avatars 4 and 5, even if he doesn't get to make them, and a new Avengers Doomsday trailer has arrived. This is your Daily Fix. Black Panther writer and director Ryan Coogler has shared details on what the script for Black Panther 2 was like before the death of star Chadwick Boseman. Boseman died in August 2020, aged 43. He played T'Challa, Black Panther, first in 2016's Captain America Civil War, 2018's Black Panther and Avengers Infinity War, 2019's Endgame, and then 2022's Black Panther Wakanda Forever via archival footage. Speaking on Josh Horowitz's Happy Sad Confused podcast, Coogler said that he had finished the 180-page draft for Black Panther 2 and asked Boseman to check it out, but he was too sick to read it. Coogler has spoken in the past about the initial pitch for the movie, which would have been a post-blip story featuring Boseman's T'Challa returning after the events of Endgame and a 5-year absence and reconnecting with his son. Coogler said, "The big thing about the script was there was this thing called the Ritual of 8, where when a prince is 8 years old, he has to go spend 8 days in the bush with his father without any tools. The prince has to listen to and do everything that's asked of him by his father, but the rule is for those 8 days, the prince can ask the father any question and the father has to answer. And during the course of those 8 days, Namor launches an attack." That was what the movie was. It was a different version of Namor in that script, but he had to deal with somebody who was insanely dangerous, but because of this ritual, his son had to be joined at his hip the whole time. The loss of Boseman radically changed the future of the franchise, and Coogler rewrote the movie to address his death and focus on T'Challa's sister, Shuri, instead. Wakanda Forever ended up being a movie as much about grief as it was moving the MCU forward or leading into the events of Black Panther 3, which Coogler signed up to direct. Sounds like it's a long way off, though. Coogler said he's currently working on an X-Files revival for television, and Black Panther 3 comes after that. Moving on, Avatar creator James Cameron has said he'll hold a press conference and tell the world what he would have done with Avatar 4 and 5 if he doesn't get the chance to make the movies. Or, the legendary writer and director has said he'll write Avatar novels himself, although he's not convinced anyone will read them. Avatar Fire and Ash is now up to $760 million at the global box office as the Disney sci-fi sequel heads towards $1 billion. While that's a huge amount of money for any movie, just 2 weekends in theaters, questions remain over whether Avatar 3 will end up making enough money theatrically to convince Disney to greenlight 4 and 5. These special effects heavy Avatar films cost a huge amount of money to produce, but they have historically made billions. Avatar 1 remains the highest grossing movie of all time, not adjusted for inflation, and has earned a staggering $2.9 billion across several theatrical runs. The Way of Water earned $2.3 billion meanwhile, cementing it as the third highest grossing film of all time, just ahead of Cameron's own Titanic. Avatar 4 currently has a December 21st, 2029 release date, with Avatar 5 due out December 19th, 2031. Cameron, now 71, will be close to 80 years old by the time it all wraps up. Now, speaking to Entertainment Weekly, Cameron had words of caution about continuing the franchise, despite the fact Disney has set release dates for Avatars 4 and 5. He said, "If we don't get to make 4 and 5 for whatever reason, I'll hold a press conference and I'll tell you what we were going to do. How's that?" An alternative is to write Avatar novels going into significant detail on the world and telling the stories of the sequels. He said, "There's so much culture and backstory and lateral detail in these characters that's been worked out. I'd love to do something that's at that level of granular detail. However, there's no business model for it anymore. People aren't reading. But anyway, it might be good to have the canonical record of what it was all supposed to be." According to EW, that's a reference to recent research from the University of Florida and University College London that states the proportion of people reading for pleasure daily in the United States has declined by more than 40% over the last 20 years. So we'll see if the Avatar saga continues to play out on the big screen or the little pages. Fire and Ash is currently the number 6 movie on the 2025 worldwide box office list. And finally today, Marvel has officially released the Thor-themed Avengers Doomsday trailer online. It launched in theaters last week ahead of Disney's Avatar Fire and Ash, replacing the Steve Rogers Captain America trailer that had kicked off the Doomsday hype train a year out from the movie's release. The teaser shows Chris Hemsworth's Thor, this time with the short-haired look from the much-loved and hugely successful Thor Ragnarok, praying to his father, Odin, played by Anthony Hopkins in the MCU, calling for the strength of the All-Fathers so he may fight once more, defeat one more enemy, and return home to her. That's a reference to Thor's adopted daughter, Love, Gore the God Butcher's resurrected daughter from Thor: Love and Thunder. What we've seen so far of Avengers Doomsday does seem to revolve around children. The Fantastic Four first steps ended with Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom appearing to kidnap Franklin Richards. The Steve Rogers and Captain America teaser shows Chris Evans' character holding a baby, presumably his child with Peggy Carter. Anyway, have a look at the new teaser for Avengers Doomsday.
Father, all my life, I have answered every call to honor, duty, to war. given me something I never sought. A child. A life untouched by the storm. Lend me the strength of the old fathers, so that I may fight once more, defeat one more enemy, and return home to her. Not as a warrior, but as warmth. To teach her not battle, but stillness. The kind I never knew. Please, Father, heed my words.
And that is your daily fix for Tuesday, December 30th. Now that you're caught up on the news, check out a new teaser trailer for what's coming in Stalker 2. I'm Damon Hatfield, and for all your gaming and entertainment news, stay tuned to IGN.